New internal documents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, everyone's favorite agency, the ATF, has been leaked to Gun Owners of America and Amaland News. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hey Wolverines, we have a spicy meatball for you today. Trust me, that joke's going to make a lot of sense in a bit. My name is John Crump, and I need your help to do things like what I'm doing today. If you want to support the channel and piss off the ATF, I have channel memberships available, I have a Patreon, and a Locals. All the links are below in the description. You can also like, comment, and subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps the channel more than you can imagine. Now let's get into the leaks. The three leaked documents involve privately manufactured firearms, PMFs, machine gun conversion devices, MCDs, and tracing guidance. Two of the documents were created on January 15th, 2025, and all the documents are classified Control Unclassified Information LEI. These documents were distributed to law enforcement agencies across the nation. The first document explains how police can log MCDs into the ATF's National Tracing Center. The ATF has added a new PMF MCD recovery report option within eTrace, an electronic database the ATF administers to log guns from crime scenes. Before last month, eTrace did not have an option to enter information for PMFs or MCDs. In the new system, the reporting party must enter the make and model of the host firearm that the MCD is attached to. For example, the ATF used a Glock 17 equipped with a switch. A switch transforms a semi-automatic Glock into a machine gun. All other identifying marks are entered into the other identifying marks field. When a user enters an MCD into eTrace, they must select whether the device is a PMF or not. And then if it is a PMF, they must enter the material and color. The ATF provides examples of MCDs such as a switch or an Invisi switch, Lightning Link, Swift Link, Yankee Boogles, and drop-in auto sears, both for the AR-15 and AK platforms. The second document provides tracing guidance for PMS. When entering a firearm into eTrace, the end user must select the type of firearm recovered. The first category of PMS is a completed firearm. A user must enter the caliber of the firearm and any serial numbers found on the barrel of slides. Although most PMFs lack serial numbers, the barrels and slides are typically purchased separately and those could be serialized. The second category for PMS is destructive devices. The ATF wants the user to enter information about the destructive device's material composition, color, and other identifying marks. The ATF uses a homemade grenade launcher as an example of a home-built destructive device. The third category the user can select includes privately manufactured frames and receivers. These consist of pistol frames and AR receivers. Like destructive devices, the ATF requires the reporter to provide the material composition of the item and its color. There's also a field that allows the user to enter the number of frames and receivers recovered. The maximum number allowed on a single report is 500. The final category is privately made silencers. As with the other categories, the end user is required to input the caliber, gauge, material composition, and the color of the homemade suppressor. Additionally, there is a field for the user to specify the numbers of homemade silencers recovered from a scene. The maximum number permitted on a single form is 500. If the number exceeds 500, a second report is needed. The document acknowledges that the absence of a serial number on a PMF does not render these items untraceable. This acknowledgement directly contradicts the ATF's public position that PMS or ghost guns are dangerous because they lack serial numbers, and that lack of serial numbers makes them untraceable. The final internal document released on October 23, 2024 explains how machine gun conversion devices work. The first machine gun conversion device described in the document is a switch. It shows the parts of a switch that anyone can use to reference to produce one. It also explains how the switch works. It also highlights the Invisi switch. An Invisi switch is a switch, but it rests flat at the back of the slide, making it less noticeable. An Invisi switch is easily produced on any 3D printer. The document gives examples of how switches are used and gives examples of switches, including the toothpick, the screed, the best autoseer, and the classic autoseer. The document's second MCD is a trigger control group travel reducer, TCGTR, also known as a Swift Link. A Swift Link converts an AR-15 into a machine gun. It is usually made of a thin piece of metal and is bent. The ATF appears to be concerned about 3D printed MCDs. It discusses the Yankee Boogle, one of the first 3D printed MCDs available. The Yankee Boogle functions like a Swift Link, but it's made using a 3D printer. Other 3D printed MCDs the ATF are concerned about are the Choosy Express, the Lightning Link, the 3D printed version, the Spicy Meatball, and the bonus Spicy Meatball. Now my jokes make more sense. They are also concerned about the Stoner High Top. The fourth MCD that the ATF is concerned about is the drop-in autoseer, which converts a semi-automatic AR-15 into a machine gun. The document highlights that M16 fire control parts and a bolt carrier for the M16 is needed for a DIAS to function properly. The final MCD the ATF is worried about is the Lightning Link. This metal link has two parts, a horizontal link and a vertical paddle. The document explains that an SP1 type bolt carrier is required and describes how the Lightning Link works. These ATF documents could be used by the public as a guide to make MCDs, even though I don't really think that's what the ATF intended. I want to thank the brave whistleblowers who are willing to share what should be public information with us. All these documents are free to download over at Amaland News. I will link the article down below in the comments. That's it. Have fun, you crazy kids.